We have enough work to do on our own without telling other people what their work needs to be or paying attention to what they're doing. Many of us need to be treated like toddlers. You know how
Mm,
kids walk around and just say, oh my gosh, there's a person who, we do that as well. This
mm,
person did this person did that. And I think sometimes, if you're just having conversation, that's fine. I think the
uh-huh.
problem is when we take what we think and we tell the person and we try to get them to be like us, or we try to point out the wrong in their life and the right that we're doing. That's what creates the problem. I often think, I bet there are a lot of stories out there about me. Some are true and some are not. I read a quote that once said, some people will think I'm a villain and some people will think I'm like a peacekeeper. I'm
Mm,
paraphrasing here. And it's like both are true because it
mm,
depends on the person and what that situation was. There are times where we need a little villain energy.
a
We
little villain.
do.
Yeah.
We do.
Okay.
We need to protect ourselves against some people or some situations. And then
Hmm.
there are some times where people are like, oh my gosh, she was so kind to me. Also true. So
Mm.
sometimes the story depends on the storyteller. And then sometimes with particular people in our lives, it helps that we disturb the peace before we know we're about to be in person with them. So
Mm.
there are some people where you may want to have a conversation prior to the connection, just so that the connection goes well. There may be, hey, let's talk before this happens because I know this is an issue with us.
Ooh, that sounds very mature.
Yeah.
That sounds like top of the maturity tree right there. Like,
Oh.
okay. So normally we fight about whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
before we meet. I
Mm-hmm.
know this is always should we just work it out ahead of time? Or could we
We
avoid
should
that?
talk about it ahead of time.
Hey friend, I just wanted to thank you so much for stopping by and tuning into the podcast. It means the world to me. There are a lot of great podcasts out there, so it's truly an honor that you've decided to take the time out of your day to listen to mine. I'm really excited to bring on more and more inspirational guests for you. But before we get into it, I wanted to ask you a huge favor. If you're enjoying the show, would you please be so kind as to hit that subscribe button? I've noticed that over 98% of the people that watch our videos aren't subscribed, and subscribing really helps the algorithm put this episode in front of other people who it could help. And be sure to leave a comment sharing what most connects with you. So much love. We are lucky enough, my friends, to have the one and only Nedra Glover Tawwab here with us on the Let It Be Easy podcast. Nedra, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to chat. Your energy is like, so I'm ready.
It's
Yes.
because of you. And I've got to say, you're a very busy lady. Our team reached out to you in 2023. And I was like, I'm not letting this one go. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
we are going to continue until we get Nedra. And here we are.
Yay!
Yay!
Victory!
Victory. Today is the
Yes.
day. And I've got my notes here. I'm like, oh my gosh, because we could go in so many directions. We've got your nuggets, we've got your books. But what I wanted to start with today actually was, and I'm
Hmm.
not sure when you last updated your website, but do you remember what your number one personal core value is listed? It's so good.
Is it minding my business?
Yes.
Okay. It's still on there. It's
It's an
still on there.
And it's number one. There are many other core values, and I'm not sure if they're in order, but what I would just love to kick off with this. Imagine if more of us had this as our core value, minding our own business. It almost sounds biblical, like live and let live. Focus. Focus on you. Can you tell us how you arrived at this? Why this is your value?
We have enough work to do on our own without telling other people what their work needs to be or paying attention to what they're doing. Many of us need to be treated like toddlers. You know how
Mm,
kids walk around and just say, oh my gosh, there's a person who, we do that as well. This person did this person did that. And I think sometimes, if you're just having conversation, that's fine. I think the
Uh-huh.
problem is when we take what we think and we tell the person and we try to get them to be like us, or we try to point out the wrong in their life and the right that we're doing. That's what creates the problem.
And then we wonder why we're so tired. Don't you
We
think sometimes?
wonder why we're so tired and burnt out. Often when I'm sitting with my clients, I hear a problem come up that would be a problem for me. And then I say to myself, this is not even a problem for them. They're not even talking about this thing that I'm thinking, oh, this isn't what you want to talk about. They're talking about something else. So even in that instance, I have to mind my business because I can't give you a problem that I would have with your life.
And this is where we get into very sticky situations, right? Because someone's say complaining
Yeah.
about work and they're like, oh, I'm underpaid. And then you hear about maybe some unfair treatment they're getting from somewhere else. And you're like, oh, you care about this thing, but there's a bigger problem.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. That's a bigger problem for me. That's
Mhm.
not a big problem for you. Like I remember talking to someone who it felt like to me they had unstable housing. And I am a very much creature of habit. I like to live in the same place. I don't like to move. I had some housing insecurity as a child. So now I'm just like, I want to stay in the same place. And they were talking about all of this moving they were doing like month to month. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this like homelessness? And then I was like, this is not even their problem. This is
They were talking
not
about their
what
boyfriend or
they're
something.
talking about something else. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Because I have enough to worry about. Here it is. In some ways, my problem is making me rigid with other people. That's what my business is. Why am I being so rigid about housing?
But it's not even a perceived problem in the person's life who's dealing with it. They're
Not at
fine.
all.
When it comes to minding your own business, I feel like, oh my gosh, I wish this were like a curriculum at school or something. I feel like there could be so much peace that we have when we're
Mhm.
changing people, jumping in, fixing, concerned with what they're doing, gossiping. I mean, you are I think your name is so synonymous with boundaries now and people seeking advice and counsel on how to set their lives up so that they can
Mm.
have more peace and more agency. Isn't minding your business really step one? Or it could be.
It would be so good for our relationships. I think often we feel like we have the answers for other people,
Mm.
that we know exactly what they should be doing, how they should be doing it, when in actuality, we're not raising other people. Now, we may raise our children, but I'm not raising my friends. I'm not raising my coworker. I'm not raising my partner. So there's not a lot of teaching that I need to do as a wife. There's not a lot of teaching I need to do as a coworker. Now, if it's helpful in a situation, that makes sense. If I'm on the elevator with someone and they didn't, push the button properly, I might say, hey, you may want to push that button. Then it's like, well, I'm going to have to be on this elevator with them going to the wrong place. This is now my business, right?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
But I don't need to teach and tell people what to do in every situation, in every instance in life.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes we feel like, oh, here's a teachable moment. People aren't looking for teachable moments. They're just trying to live their lives.
And it's funny because I think we think we're being helpful or generous, maybe secretly a little righteous because we know something. Let me
Mhm.
chime in with my opinion.
Mhm.
And talking about boundaries, we always think, or I think our instinct is, well, I've got to protect my own. But when it comes to uh, offering that suggestion or uh, really having an opinion on something that someone's really not even willing to talk about, really that
Mhm.
this is such good news in the best way because it means that we can do less. We can actually keep our energy, save it for our own lives, our own struggles,
Mhm.
without thinking too that there's this hero that we have to be for others, maybe for love too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So two things, Nedra, I got well, I mean, many things, but there were two standout moments for me in Set Boundaries, Find Peace. A friend of mine, Kimberly, suggested this book to me. And the two I mean, like I said, there are many takeaways, but two that stood out were these. People don't want to always understand you.
Mm,
You know
mhm,
how we feel like we have to defend, justify, explain, make our side of the story really clear? I think we're very quick to get defensive. And when you shared in this book that, look, people don't want to understand. They just
mhm.
want to not like you. They just want to disagree with that opinion. They just want to even virtue signal, I don't know, whatever it is. Could you speak to us a little bit about that? Because a lot of people come to me with this and they're like, I need to set the story straight. This person didn't. Oh, I'm like, read Set Boundaries, Find Peace.
I need to set the story straight.
Hmm.
I often think, I bet there are a lot of stories out there about me. Some are true and some are not. I read a quote that once said, some people will think I'm a villain and some people will think I'm like a peacekeeper. I'm
Mm,
paraphrasing here. And it's like both are true because it
mm,
depends on the person and what that situation was. There are times where we need a little villain energy.
a
We
little villain.
do.
Yeah.
We do.
Okay.
We
Hmm.
need to protect ourselves against some people or some situations. And then
Hmm.
there are some times where people are like, oh my gosh, she was so kind to me. Also true.
Mm,
So
mm,
sometimes the story depends on the storyteller. So in some instances where someone says, oh my gosh, she was such a butthole to me,
mm,
let's tell the whole story. What happened?
mm,
Because a story without context is a big untruth in and of itself. And so when
mm,
people want to be a victim, guess what they don't do? They don't give context.
no, they're fully selective.
They go
Selective.
right to your action.
Yes.
Right
Mm.
to your action. I once I wouldn't even say I ended a relationship, but someone ended a relationship with me. And they said to me, have a nice life. That was their last sentence to me. Have a nice life. And I didn't call them. I didn't, reach out to, and they blocked me on social media. Have a nice life. And they blocked me. Right. So
Mm.
in my mind, that means you've ended the relationship. Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, this person's story to everyone else was, she doesn't talk to me anymore. I
Huh.
said, this person ended the relationship. So I had a conversation with this person a year later. And they said to me, well, you never called me again. And I had to show them text proof of I said, you said, have a nice life. And then you blocked me on all socials. Well, I was
Mm.
upset.
Yeah.
I, I took it to be your truth.
Yes. Yeah. And you're staying in your business. Like,
I don't believe in pursuing people who aren't pursuing me. And
mm,
so I said, okay, and I'll grieve the relationship on my own, but I, I'm not going to contact you. Isn't that harassment? I think that's
mm.
harassment.
It's like they're two separate stories, two separate
There's two
planets.
separate
Like,
stories. So you
yeah.
wanted me to contact you, but so okay, I get it. This is like a game. Oh, I don't play that game. And so
Mm,
your story of me to everyone else from your perspective is true. I never called you again. That is absolutely true. So I seem like a bad guy. But what the
mm,
people aren't hearing is your role in me not calling you.
mhm.
So
And
context matters.
mhm. Context matters, and most people, I think, too, don't. So some of us omit a lot of the information, the story, so we look like the
Mhm.
good guy. Perhaps, like in this situation, it seems like that might
Mhm.
have been an intention. Uh, when it comes to, I see this on social media. So a friend of mine, she helps blended families, and I love what you say about blended families too with boundaries. But she shared something on social media when a celebrity said something like, "You've got to just love your stepkids like your kids."
Mm.
And my friend who works in the stepmom space was like, I disagree with that. Sometimes the relationships aren't good, and you're still allowed to have a relationship with the man or woman that you love,
Mhm.
irrespective of what their children say, because often there's influences with the other, their mother or father.
Mhm.
And she was like, I disagree with this celebrity. You don't have to love your stepkids. And out of context, like you just said, Nedra, she seems like a monster, and everyone's like, you should burn in hell. You don't treat children like the only you're not leading with love, and then a lot of kind of religious commentary around it too. And this is I mean, this woman, this friend of mine, she's wonderful. She's gentle, soft, accommodating. She's done the work, and she was offering something supportive, and I was like, oof, no one wants to understand that. In that situation, what would you, if you shared something that was kind of, I guess, being misconstrued and seemed a
Mhm.
bit clickbaity for the hate? She was like, no, I'm not saying that stepkids and she actually has a good relationship with hers, but she knows that's not the case for everybody. So in that situation, I was like, look, protect your peace, whatever that feels like. What I'd love to hear what you would suggest.
In Drama Free, I talked a bit about blended families,
Mm-hmm.
and I have counseled couples who are blending their families. And often, I think we take the role of step parent to mean parent,
Mm-hmm.
and it's too soon.
Mm.
It's too soon. We don't have a relationship with the person we're trying to parent. And so I think the most important thing in a blended parenting situation is to build a relationship before
Mm.
the parenting piece comes in. And very often people step in as a parental force and not as, what is your favorite color? What do you like to do? What are our things to do together? It's like, no, your dad told you to go to bed. Nobody's going to like that.
Mm.
And so
And
that relationship piece is often missing because many adults feel like I'm the adult and this is a child who has to listen to me, when in actuality it's like they don't know you. They
mm.
haven't built that level of respect. And depending on what the relationship is with the other parent, there may be some messaging on the other side getting in the way of them actually embracing you. And so
Mm.
all of those things have to be taken into consideration. And if you are the adult in that situation, it makes sense that it would be, difficult to be kind to a person who isn't being kind back,
Mm.
to want to love someone in the way that you love your own children. I mean, I think it's a goal,
Mm.
but for some parents, for some step parents, it's more achievable than others.
Mhm. Mhm. And I know lots of variables in any family, in any dynamic. When it comes to defending a position, right? So maybe social media is it, maybe it's not, maybe it's a friendship group. But if you have an opinion that maybe goes against the grain a little, or you've got some experience and people just disagree with you,
Mhm.
the way that I look at it, tell me, I mean, I'd love to hear what you think, but some people deserve a bit of more. Some people deserve not an explanation, but it's worth your time to go get into it. But a lot of the time, it's just cheap stuff, like people just hating, commenting, saying this, saying that, taking something that you said and spun it off. Do you defend in those situations, or do you clarify anything, or do you like, nah, that's not my job?
If you were to take a look at my Instagram or Threads or any platform that I post on, you will see me very little in
Mm.
the comments defending things,
Mhm, mhm,
because so much of what people take from something is about their personal experience. And so if I can think of some posts that I've had that have generated a lot of buzz. For
mhm,
instance, I have a post about reasons
mhm,
people ghost, and
mhm,
people gave reasons. And so
mm,
sometimes in that instance, it is okay to be the villain, right?
mm,
Because
mhm,
there are some people who make it very unsafe for you to leave a relationship. They do.
mm,
That is
mhm.
fact.
Yes.
So if we were to say anytime you need to leave a relationship, you have to have a closing conversation. That's not true in all instances. There are
Mm,
some times where people have tried to talk to you and it wasn't the best situation for them. You may not want to believe that you're that sort of person, but it could be true. We're talking about context.
mhm.
You may not understand the totality of their experience with you.
And this is you, and so when you release a poll like this, there's a lot of engagement. I mean, one of my questions for you in just a moment actually is your own policy with social media, because you've got, I mean, nearly a couple million followers, a lot of engagement, a lot of fans. And if someone misinterprets because that's objective, you sharing a poll, hey, these are reasons, interesting data, information. You're not saying, and this is fair, and it's just information.
It's just information.
And
Yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, I think that's really interesting. And that's because you've got access to all of these people. And in my opinion, it's generous to share these insights. And maybe we get ghosted for a reason sometimes. Anyone who's ever ghosted us, like maybe yeah, who knows? And and so the reason I wanted to bring this up is, what's Nedra's policy? Is she like, okay, well, no, I've got to really clear things up? Or because I'm not defensive. I love that line in A Course in Miracles, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. Like, and this is like coming back to your number one value, my own business. And so are you along the same lines?
I don't feel the need to defend myself publicly. Now, I will have a little chat with my husband and I'll be like, guess what they
Yes.
said? And
Yes.
and that's the extent of it. It just becomes comedic relief sometimes with chats with my friends, like this lady
Yes.
posted blah blah blah.
Yes.
But I don't defend myself online, because I think even that encourages a level of attention and back and forth that I don't want to give situations. Sometimes when I get a DM, a private message that I don't make them public, but sometimes I will get a DM where someone is, oh, I can't believe you posted this thing. I've been following you for 8 years and I'm going to unfollow you because blah, blah, blah. I might just reply back, it's okay to leave quietly.
Well, everybody, it's okay to leave quiet. We don't need an announcement, right?
Or sometimes people will email me and say, I don't want to be on your email list anymore. And I'll send them a message back and say, I just unsubscribed you. Just unsubscribe. Like, I don't need to know this.
Which also kind of leads me to the second point, Nedra, of your of Set Boundaries, Find Peace, that I love so much. You say, make peace with being out of the loop.
Yes.
Oh, I think that no one has peace being out of the loop. We feel like we need to know everything and what everyone thinks and now and what's coming and all the I mean, it's so overwhelming. And I was thinking to myself while I was preparing for this, I wonder if Nedra's, because this book came out 2021, I think Drama Free 2022, right? Rapid, so much to say. And of course, now mid 2025, almost. Has how you feel about boundaries evolved over time? Like, are you please share. I'll be quiet.
Yes. The evolution of it really has been, if I could go back and write some more chapters for that book, I would emphasize how much our boundaries are our responsibility. And I have a chapter on that, but I don't feel like it's loud enough. I feel like that chapter should have been bolded or something. Like, I don't think people are getting that we are the energetic power needed to change our lives. It's not other people. It's not asking for permission. It's not telling people your boundary, but not honoring yourself. You mentioned gossip earlier, like clearing up the story. I think there are a few ways that we can allow a story to run or try to clear it up, right? Like, what is my power in this situation? If someone is talking about me, do I speak directly to that person or do I talk to the person telling me the story about it? Many of us choose to talk to the person and try to change their mind who heard the story. We don't go to the source of the story and say, hey, I heard this thing was said. We're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they said that. This is what actually happened. The last few times where I feel like I was like in a little family gossip situation, I called the person directly. My mom called me and she told me something that a cousin was saying. I said, hey, let me call you back. I'm going to call her. She was like, what? I'm like, you said she was saying this thing. I want to clear it up.
That's brave. That's brave, Nedra. You're going straight to the source. Yeah. Yes.
Because if you're saying this, well, that's how 1 year later, after the person ended that relationship with me, oh, I want to clear it up. This is what happened.
Mhm.
Here is the text message. I don't have the screenshot of being blocked, but I do have proof because you also blocked my partner. So both
Mhm.
of us
Mhm.
can't be, having memory issues. So I
Mm.
want to I want to go directly to the source. You can continue to tell this story, but also know that I know it's not true.
Mm. And when it comes to, because I think that most people don't at all have the courage to do that. It would just be because it would just feel too confronting. It's easier to gossip. You can also feel kind of superior with some gossip sometimes, giving judgment on what other people are doing. I know, I think we can all experience this. When it comes to being in the loop, out of the loop, being out of the loop is very nice.
It is. Oh, yes. I don't
Oh.
Oh my gosh, the early COVID days, I don't
Mhm.
watch the news very much, but
Mhm.
when we were in the thick of it, like March 2020, I
Mhm.
started looking at that little ticker on the New York Times for a
Mm.
few weeks where it was like death toll,
Mhm.
and it just made me feel so awful.
Mhm.
It just made me feel so awful. It was so unhelpful in a
Mhm.
way that was, like, counterproductive. It's like,
Mhm.
I need to get through the days, I need to wash my hands, wash my groceries, all of
Mhm.
these things that we're doing to get through the
Mhm.
pandemic.
Mhm.
And looking at this death toll is not helping me in any way. As a matter of fact, it's making me more anxious, and there's nothing else I can do. I'm not even
Mm.
leaving the house. There's
Mm.
nothing more I can do to protect myself. And so that level of information is actually unhelpful. I was at the airport yesterday and there was a news chopper. And I said, "Is that a news chopper?" And the guy who worked on the tram, he was like, "Yeah, you better be glad you're not flying such and such airline. They just had a fire." And I said, "Oh, okay." And so my daughter, she was like, "What happened?" I said, "I will never know." I will
That's the
never
answer. Don't know,
know.
don't care, don't wanna know, leave me
I
out
d
of it, like
Look, I have to get on this airplane, and what I will
Mhm.
not read about is
Ex
airplane crashes on the airplane.
Oh.
I'm
Why would
like,
you?
I said, "He shared way too much information." All I said was, "Is that a news chopper?" I didn't need to know
Mm.
why it was there. I just saw a big channel too. I just
Oh. This is also part of the core value, right? This goes back to when you think about it. I'm saying I'm not a
I'm like,
pilot. I'm not responsible for the
listen,
airline.
I'm watching White Lotus, which has nothing to do with airplanes. And I will continue to watch White Lotus. I will not look up
Mm.
anything about this airplane. I'm done.
I feel this way too, Nedra, and I think that sometimes maybe part of me feels almost irresponsible or something because what's happening here, what's happening there, this part of the world, this war, this new drama, this tariff, this, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing my creative work. I know enough, but being out of the loop, I think the way that straightforward is if I can do something, I will. There'll be an action. I can maybe make a donation. There's something that can happen,
Mhm, mhm.
but why else? Like, what else? What else is being the like? How else is that useful? And I'm not even talking for me. Like the collective, all of us. Is it good if we're all panicking? Is it good if we're all angry? Is it good? I don't know.
Well, I think some of us need to be panicked because that's how I get a lot of information. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that everybody needs to exist like us, right? Like we
Mm-hmm.
need people to read the news. We need people to
Mm-hmm.
report the news. We
Mm-hmm.
even need some people to create the news, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes.
Like, so
Yeah.
all of those things will exist in the world. I'm
Mm-hmm.
only one little part saying, well, I won't watch it. But guess who will tell me? The person who watches the news. And then I'll be informed. And that is the circle of life.
Oh,
It's
do you know,
like,
it's like that. Yes, that is like
I
so.
don't even
Oprah
have
said
to
some.
watch the news. I talk to people all day. And you know what my clients will come in and say? Have you been to the grocery store yet? And I'm like, why? Why do I need to go to It's going to be a storm. Oh, a storm is coming? When will it happen? And then that's how I know I need to go grocery shopping and get my bread and eggs and whatever else. And that
Mm,
I have not missed a storm.
Oh, you are right. People tell you, you will know there are fires in LA. You will know, you will
Oh, no.
know, you will know, you will. I remember Oprah said that. She was like, I switch off a lot sometimes. And if something happens, someone will tell me.
Yeah, I believe the universe is generous. We need
Hmm.
people who want to be informed to tell the people who don't desire the information from the news source in
Mm,
conversation. My
mm.
husband uses social media in a different way than I do. And so he tells me stuff like, did you hear this about such and such? Or so and so is coming in concert, or this is this new bar. It's like, thank you.
Aw.
I don't have to use it in that way because I have you.
Aw. And when it comes to your social media, because I mean, you don't post much, right? We're not seeing like your breakfast. We're not seeing your workout routine. We're not seeing Nedra's getting ready with me. Like you share your wisdom in generously, right? Freely. But I feel like you've got your boundary there. And I know you've heard this
Hmm.
word boundary a million times. You're already sick of talking about it on some level, but I'm
Hmm.
so curious because I think that the world will always encourage more or you'll see other people doing more. But do you have a policy? Is it just do you just intuitively guide what comes up?
I see what happens and I hear about what happens when people post their personal lives.
Mhm.
And I don't think my personal life is entertainment. It's real
Mhm.
life. And so I
Mhm.
don't want to make it consumable. I don't want people to feel like they have a relationship with the people in my life.
Mm.
I don't know. I think that's private for me. And I know for other people they're very open to that, but for me, it feels like private relationships that shouldn't be shared. And that doesn't mean that um like my daughters, they're like, "Did you post that on Instagram?" And I'm like, "Girl, no. I just sent this to 5 people via text."
I do that too. I do that
I'm like,
too. Yeah.
"No, there is no posting of you on Instagram."
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think that is some people's work in the world, right? I just don't feel
Mhm.
like that's my work. I think my work is the relationships, the wellness, the mental health stuff.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe people do care about what I eat for breakfast. It's pretty boring. I usually have like eggs and sausage. So
But someone would be like, "There's a whole reel about this, and how
yeah,
do you
and a
set yourself up?"
banana.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, I meant, if
Yeah.
if pictures
Mm.
are required, I mean, I maybe, but
Mm.
I just think sometimes in my own world, and I don't know, maybe to other people, they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's so interesting that this person and it's so funny because I follow someone who wakes up every day and they drink a glass of water and they post that. And I watch it. I'm like, "Oh yeah, my cue to drink my water, but when I wake up." I
Mm.
just don't think that anybody would care about me drinking water. I don't know why.
So you're just following your you're just like, this is what I feel good with. You're not like, okay, these are my guidelines. Because sometimes people ask me, like, do I need guidelines? I'm like, just do what feels right. And for you, it seems like you're just clear. And
Yeah, or I post things that I think people should support. Like sometimes if I go to the
mm,
movies, I'm like, this was a really good movie. I know
mhm,
that, this work in the world is important, right? Or this TV show or this book
mhm,
or this tea. I drink a lot of tea. So I'm like,
mhm,
this tea was,
mm,
really good if you're looking for something good. But I do get people like, where did you get your shirt? Where are those
mhm.
glasses?
Yes.
Like that sort of stuff. And, sometimes I'll respond to it. And, I've had people be like, you're gatekeeping.
Mm. What? Ah! And you're like, I'm just living my life, right?
I'm
Just put
just
clothes on
wearing
today. I'm allowed
clothes.
to wear
Yeah.
clothes. It's yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I'm sure that you've thought or people have told you, oh my gosh, you could be doing this and that and check, and Kindle again, deal here and do it here and get a sunglasses sponsor. And you're just like, I feel well, it's my own guess, but you're like, I'm good. I know. Like there is a peace that I feel from you that that's just steady in your knowing.
Yeah. And I think that work is for other people. And I'm not saying that work will never be for me. Please give me a tea sponsorship.
Yes, it's
I
time.
buy so much. Please give it to me for free.
Yes.
I feel like that work is for other people. I don't need all the work in all the streams possible.
I don't need all the work in all the streams possible. But this is America. You don't want every single dollar.
I
Like
sell
you don't want to milk
books.
every.
I don't, if you, and sometimes people are so generous. They're like, my newsletter is free. And so people were like, how do I support you? I'm like, go buy a book, buy 5 books, give them away, take them to work and set them on your desk and let people pick it. That's how you can support me. If you ever see that I'm somewhere speaking, come say hi. If I have a paid opportunity, sign up for it. But I'm not, I don't know. I don't think everything needs to be consumable. At heart, I am a social worker. So a piece of that is I do believe that free work, free resources are important. The library, back in the day, the Oprah Winfrey show, things like that. Those were free resources. So social media can be a free resource. So everything that I do is not going to be behind a paywall. It's not going to be, you have to buy this thing to access this level of whatever. And some things are, right? But yeah, I'm not opposed to sponsorships, and people have come to me, but sometimes it's like, now how do I align with this? It's like
they want a
they
piece
just
here.
want people. It's like, yeah, it's like, why am I selling bras?
I know.
Then, have you seen my cleavage? It's not there. I don't need to be selling bras. I guess we can make this mental health. Like, wear a bra. It annoys you all day. And then you get to take it off. Like
it is. I align with this too so much. And one of your posts recently, I actually typed it out here because it was so good. It was about how top tier self-care can be creating a peaceful adult home if you've come from a chaotic home. And I read something like that. I actually grew up with me, my mum, and my sister living in different domestic violence shelters. And social workers were so nice to us and they would help us. And I know that's your background. And when I even read that post today, I was like, isn't it funny how little we give ourselves credit for? I think having a peaceful home, okay, basic, 10 years ago, okay, got it. That's nothing. And then I read something like that from you, Nedra, and I'm like, yeah, like
it's such a big hug to yourself, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It's like, there is nothing going on here. Like every day we just wake up, we do our day and go to bed. There are no adults fighting. There are no wild parties.
No
the
police.
Lights are on. The gas. We have air. Man, we even got snacks.
Yes.
We got snacks.
Yes.
What a life. What a life. But you have to have, you know what? You have to have that reference point to appreciate this piece. Because I have kids who don't have that reference point.
Yes.
And so my kids are like, what more?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't love this? It's so quiet. They're like, no, can we have people over? I'm like, oh, you want people in here and are quiet?
I have to say, I think the background that your career history and what you bring to the work that you do, I feel the generosity. I feel the generosity just of spirit and you and your desire to help and to serve. And as I was rereading your books and thinking, oh my gosh, Nedra, one thing that came up for me, and I wanted to just to get your straightforward, like your instinct opinion. Can a person, because I think that, depending on your family, of course, we have natural personalities too, but wherever you've come from, I think that there are certain people in your life who either don't like you or who say things about you like, oh, you're too loud, and this too much expression that we hear a lot. Can a person be too much? Like, can is there such a thing as a person who is too much? I've heard it. I know other people have heard it. Is that even possible? Or
Yes.
is, okay, I'm listening.
And it too much is relative. It's too much for me. It may not be too much for other people. That's why I don't do a lot of this person needs to change, right? You actually don't if other people can tolerate it. Do you need to change for me? No. If everyone else is okay with this thing that you're doing, it's actually not problematic. It just doesn't fit who I am.
So if a person is, just say their personality is maybe a bit more dominant, or some people just make a lot more sound, like, and it can be even like it can feel like a bit of an attack on your senses. And look, I know everyone is very different, but a person can be too much, but it doesn't mean that they need to change anything. It just means that for the people who consider that too much, maybe they can just step away, or they can welcome more space. The person who's deemed that doesn't need to change anything.
If they want to be around particular people, I don't, I think we have run wild with this. You need to just be yourself, and you need to be your full self in all environments. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't need to dance through the airport. You need to get to your gate. So what if you have a dancing spirit? Don't do it down this escalator. Just walk.
And get a move on, lady.
Get a move on. Don't be yourself.
Okay, this is really refreshing, actually, because I think that, authenticity, and it's like, well, sometimes, you go to work, you got your period, you feel like shit. Smile, though, like you're at work, right?
I don't want people to be authentic in customer service. Are you kidding me? I want you to be fake. Be fake.
Be super sweet.
Super sweet, super kind. That's it. That's all that's required. We don't want your authentic self.
This has always been a bit of a question for me, Nedra. I'm like, okay, so how do you strike that balance between like being your, quirky, goofy self, whoever you are, and then also, because even I learned recently the word persona has a Greek origin meaning mask. And we all have a different persona, based on, if you're talking to a boss, or if whatever it is, if you're on stage, right, versus the night before when you're out on a date. So how do you interpret this? Is it something that most people just intuitively know? Because I don't think that that's always the case.
Yeah. We have parts where we may be able to express certain things. Like I think I have a good sense of humor, right?
Yes.
And so a part of that comes out in many instances. But in some instances, I can't use any humor because it's inappropriate. So you have to know when that part of you can come out. It doesn't need to exist at all times, because then it would be insensitive if I'm cracking jokes when you're telling me my mother died. Right? Like, so then it's inappropriate, but it's like, I'm being my authentic self. Everybody know that I'm funny. It's like, it's inappropriate. So there is a timing to these parts of who we are. There is a time for us to be loud and chatty, and like that works in some places in our lives, not all, and not all the time. And so you have to discern, is this an opportunity for me to bring this part out? It's not like I'm all of this thing. It's like, that is a part of me. Also, like I'm social, but I also like a lot of alone time. So yeah, there are various parts to who we are. Do they all need to show up at once? Please don't. Please don't do that.
Really
that would ruin your relationships with people.
No one's going to be inviting you anywhere.
No one's going to invite you anywhere if all the parts are together. It's like, oh my gosh, what is happening? We have to look at our environments and figure out what we can show up as. And if we're always restraining ourselves, like there are some places where we just feel like, I cannot be any part of myself.
Mm,
I can't be any part of myself. It is rejected. I have to be this exact thing that other people want me to be. In those
mm,
instances, we may have to think about our environment and how to get out of it or how to change our role in it.
mhm. Like if you're completely in the wrong job with people who are just
Yeah. If
complete,
you're,
like you're like, get me out of here. Like this is,
yes,
yeah. But,
everybody has to dress a certain way. They have to do a certain thing. It's very rigid. It's very formal. And it's like, I'm a free spirit.
yeah,
Right?
yes.
Like that's just not a good match of energy, right? And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that you have to be like them, but it might mean you're meant to learn something from this environment for a little bit until you leave it.
Mm,
What am
mm,
I supposed to learn in this rigid environment that doesn't fit me to take
mm.
back to my free spirit world?
Yes, and your free spirit world, like luckily as adults, we're lucky to choose who's around us. I mean, we don't choose our siblings and parents, this we know, but the rest, I mean, this is playtime, right? This is where we're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'll meet people like me, and this is, but I'm happy that you said this because I feel like we've gone a little too far in the other way. It's like, oh, you just be you, and it's perfectly, it's always acceptable. And people don't like it, then eh, shame on them. And it's like, huh, well, but
And
there's also,
let's be clear. I think some of us it's like you be you and it's like, well, who are you really? What parts are you
oh,
showing? Is that
mm,
attracting people or is that repelling people? Because the real you might need some work.
mm,
Like that authentic self doesn't mean that it's the best version of you.
mm,
Sometimes the
mm,
authentic self is the worst version of people. And so if you're like, I'm going to be my authentic self, it's like, please don't.
mm.
Please don't. Be your inauthentic self.
I
because
beg you. Yeah. Calm
because
down.
your
Yeah.
your authentic self is mean, it's rude, it's pushy, it's so those things matter. And so when we hear and see stuff, we take it to mean in totality do this thing. We're not using a lot of critical judgment with
Mm,
some of these things. And I know like with social media, like the nuance is not there and the post might say like be your authentic self. And people aren't saying don't be your authentic self in all spaces. Like there's time and a place. If you're at work and it has rules and you want to keep your job, don't be your authentic self. Like
yes, yes. Ah.
yeah, like so there is context that we're missing in taking some of these things and just applying them as rules. We have to again go back to the context of the situation.
And when it comes to feedback, if someone gives you feedback, do you
Mhm.
just gauge the person's like intent? Like, do you know and respect them? Because if someone, I've been given great feedback over my life, I'm grateful.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not always comfortable, but I
Mhm.
know that someone's taking a risk to give it to
Mhm.
me. I know I've given feedback too. I'm much more timid about giving it than receiving it, I'll admit. But when I've gotten it, I'm like, wow, this person cares. And I could have ghosted them. Like I could have gone, well,
Mm.
because I could have been so sensitive or upset. What's your how do you feel around feedback? So I don't mean you're too much, shut up, but like, hey,
Mhm.
like you speak quite loudly, or when you do that, XYZ happens. Do you have any thoughts or around feedback as something that's actually loving and nice, and when it's appropriate?
I think feedback it to the receiver of the feedback, it may hurt, it may feel harsh, but ultimately, when applied, it can be very helpful.
Hmm.
And that's the part we get so our ego is so big, like I'm perfect, I'm great, I could never be louder, I could never do,
Hmm.
all these
Hmm.
things. When in actuality, it's like if we really listen to the information,
Hmm.
it might be helpful. It's hard to have a negative view of ourselves. And that's why when people are like, this person lied and they won't tell the truth, or my parents won't admit that they did XYZ,
Mm.
it is so hard to acknowledge that you're doing something wrong or you're doing something that people didn't like. So many of us will just say the other person is wrong or they made this thing up. It's much easier to not believe what is being said about you. Like it it feels better. You don't have to deal with the shame. You don't have to deal with the guilt. You don't have to deal with that stuff. It's just like, psh, they're a liar. Much easier than I neglected my kid. I'm too loud. I really could improve the way that I cook this dish. Like, this person must be wrong for me to feel good. When we actually listen to the person giving us feedback or telling us something that bothered them about, the way we did something, when we listen to it and we sit with it and we allow it to inform our future interactions, our future behaviors, it's a good thing. Someone told me, I was speaking and they told me, you do a great job at speaking, but I think you could do better if you opened up with a story so your audience isn't just like thrown into the material. And I was like, huh. Okay. And they were like very apologetic. Like, they asked me, could they give me the feedback? I said yes. They gave me the feedback and I was like, huh. Ever since they said that, that's what I do. I think my speeches are going better.
Wow.
It
See,
sucked
that's,
hearing it. It did not feel
yeah.
good. I was like, what? I do a wonderful job. In my head, this is what I'm thinking. I didn't say this. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was doing bad. And they're like, no, it's not bad. It's just, it doesn't feel good to hear that when you think you're doing a great job.
Especially if you just spoke and you're high and you're like, was that
Yep.
good? Because I know that. And it's like,
Yep.
hey, I've
And
got
they're
feedback.
like,
You're like,
hey, that was good, but let me tell you what would make it better.
yeah. You're like, not today. Really? Like, oh, see, no, I love this because I think that it's, there's also like an elegance to this, because I've got I'm me, and that's also rigid. That's our own rigid internal, like, nope, I do me. I am who and it's like, well, maybe aren't we all here to learn? Like, aren't we all here to also have a bit of humility? And maybe
Yeah.
someone has an idea we can I mean, I think this is always a work in progress for me. But one other question, because oh my gosh, seriously, I love you, Nedra. I could talk to you about a million things. One thing that came up, what I mentioned in my community that I'm talking about you, I thought this question was good from someone. She said, how do I know if I'm avoiding conflict to keep the peace, which feels a little bad sometimes, like, oh, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going
Mm-hmm.
versus just choosing peace intentionally? And I was like, oh, that's nice. I'd love to hear what, because I think that this woman particularly, if something's coming up, especially she has a twin sister, she's like, oh, just no, I have not got the energy. And then she's like, am I cheaping out and not really speaking my truth, or am I just like saving my energy so I can eat in peace and not deal?
How often does it come up with this person? And will the conversation ultimately lead to any sort of change that could be productive in the relationship?
Oh.
So I choose my peace sometimes, and sometimes I choose confrontation. When I'm getting my kids ready in the morning, I have one that wakes up just moody. You
Mm.
moved my shirt. I choose my peace because it's 6 a.m. And I don't
Mm.
I don't want to raise my voice too much at 6 a.m. But when
Mm.
she gets home from school, I'm no longer trying to choose my peace. I'm
Yes.
ready for confrontation.
Yes.
It's not how I want to start my day, but I'm willing to end it with a little confrontation. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it depends. It's like, okay, do I need to say this right now? Or do we need to get out the house to do this thing? Do I need like
Mm,
what moments require my peace for me to be able to sustain the rest of the day or a few hours? And which moments where it's like, no, gotta go. I gotta say something here. But if we
mm.
find ourselves always remaining silent, that is problematic. If we
Yes.
find ourselves always saying something, that is also problematic. So there
Mm,
is this middle ground of sometimes I need to say something and sometimes I need to bite my tongue. I have
mm,
to choose when those times are. What are your rules? My rule is early morning. It is, for me, anything happening, I would say before 8 o'clock, you can just, you could kick me and I'd be like, ouch.
You won't kick back.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I don't like a lot of yelling too early.
Right.
It's
No,
like,
no.
I shouldn't even be awake right now, y'all.
Yeah.
I need to be sipping tea and reading books, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are other times where it's like, ugh. And then sometimes with particular people in our lives, it helps that we disturb the peace before we know we're about to be in person with them. So there are some people where you may want to have a conversation prior to the connection, just so that the connection goes well. There may be, hey, let's talk before this happens because I know this is an issue with us.
Oh, that sounds very mature.
Yeah.
That sounds like top of the maturity tree right there. Like,
Oh.
Okay. So normally we fight about whatever it is before we meet. I know this is always should we just work it out ahead of time? Or could we
We
avoid
should
that?
talk about it ahead of time.
Ooh.
I have a person with a drinking problem in my family. And what I typically do before they come visit, I just have a talk every single time. Every single time I have a talk like, hey, so when you come to my house, there is no drinking. If you see anybody else drinking, they are being social. You cannot partake. This is my expectation of you, or we can find other housing options. Every single time.
Wow. And that's okay. It's accepted. I mean, I'm sure it's not celebrated by this
I
person.
don't
but,
know. They come to visit.
but they still come.
They still come. Yeah.
And they obey your rules because
To
otherwise
my
they might.
knowledge. I don't know. I think there has been some secrets. I have not seen anything. If you have a drinking problem, I'm sure you're very strategic as well. So I don't know. But this is the conversation I have to prevent, because what happens with other people is they came over here and they did X, Y, and Z. And I always say, well, did you tell them not to drink? No. And it's not saying that you can't drink. I'm just saying you can't do it in my house.
With your
so
family.
You can drink wherever, you want to. If you want other housing accommodations, that's fine. But your behavior when you drink is not acceptable in my peaceful home.
Oh my gosh. You know what even just strikes me as you say that? Probably even the person, even though they don't love being given a boundary, a rule by you, maybe it also even helps in some way. Like maybe it's in a way that you wouldn't even anticipate, but it's like, oh, okay, this is maybe a sub weekend for me or whatever it is. And that because my dad, who died of addiction, my mum, she couldn't control him at all. Who can? But sometimes when there were certain periods when he was grateful, quietly he would go back. But I wonder, gosh, just the ripple effect too of the courage, your ability to own your space and within your right, and to share that information clearly, not saying to everybody else, hope he doesn't drink too much, control him or her, if you see her sipping wine, like, oh no, start texting, oh my God, she's on the rosé. It's like, no, I'll just tell you. It's kind of, like you said earlier, you'll go to the person.
I'll go to the person. Because, and that's what happens. There's always a lot of family chatter about this person. Was like, well, did you talk to them? No. Well,
wow.
It doesn't happen at my house. So I can't control how you handle this, but this is how I handle this, because what could potentially happen is they come here, they think it's a free for all, and there's some big explosion, and then I don't talk to the person anymore. That's the consequence. Because you've had this disruptive behavior, something bad happened. It's like, I'm actually trying to prevent what I know can happen. Because I've seen it happen.
Yes,
right?
and you're preempting something too that's negative for them.
Yes.
So this is like, oh my gosh, Nedra, I could keep you truly. Quick couple of rapid fire round questions because I have to ask. These are some of my faves. Okay, what boundary do you still struggle with? I'm sure everyone's dying to know. Like, as the pro, as the experienced one, are you like, oh?
Not watching TV while using my cell phone.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah. Man, just paying 100% attention to the television. That's my boundary I'm struggling with.
Me too, actually. If you have a tip at any point, please let me know.
Leave your phone in the other room.
It has to be hard to get. And then,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. That makes it much easier because something will come up on the TV show and I'll be like, they said they went to New Mexico. Now I'm Googling New Mexico while they're on the TV show. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I'm like, how many times? What year was this person president? I'm like, what is happening?
Anyway, wasn't he married? Didn't he date Julia Roberts in the 80s? Like, I think you'll be proud of this, Nedra. The other day when I had dinner with my friends, I said, can we have dinner without our phones this time? And of course, I can't control anybody, but everyone kept reaching for their phone to verify these not important, these. And then at the end, I said, kind of smugly, I was like, see, we didn't need to know whether that woman has hair extensions if we Googled her history. It didn't matter. And we were together. And it was so nice.
Information at our fingertips is such a gift and a curse. My daughter the other day, she was like, how did you get information without Google? I said, encyclopedias. And it was a beautiful thing.
The library. Exactly.
It was so beautiful. It's like,
yeah, you used to ask people.
You used to ask people, or you look in you had to go get the insight, find the letter, look it up, hope that there was something there to tell you about elephants. And, now it's like we get 100 pages about elephant tusks. And it's like, why did I need to know that? I don't know, but I looked it up. Ugh.
I do it too while watching TV. What's the best book you've read this year?
This year? Oh my gosh.
And ideally a fiction and a nonfiction if you like nonfiction.
I'm going to look at my bookshop because I keep all of my books there. Okay, go to the next question. I'm going to come back to this one.
I know it's a hard question because if I said favorite book or best book, I mean, that's an impossible question. But I thought 2025, we're only nearly May. Maybe there's a banger that you've read lately that you're like, ooh, I found this.
Okay. So, okay. I went down a rabbit hole. When I find an author I like, I read a lot of their books. So Monday's Not Coming, that was a really good book. And on the last page, it was like a really quick shift. And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? So Monday's Not Coming.
And this is nonfiction?
That is fiction.
Oh, okay. So there's a cliffhanger and you're like, sequel. Okay.
And also Allegedly. That's by the same author. So Allegedly and Monday's Not Coming. That was the fiction. And then for nonfiction, what is my book? So this one was really interesting. Housewife.
Oh.
It's by Lisa Davis. And it talks about like all the history of how women became housewives, the trad wife movement, the working mom movement. Just it's a lot of good information around why people choose different paths. And I just found it interesting. I was just Housewife. Yep.
Housewife. That does sound interesting.
It's really good. I was walking through Barnes and Noble and I'm like, Housewife, what is this about? And I just started reading a few pages. I was like, oh, buying. It's really good. Now, how many books do I have to read that seem very good? 1,000. I'm looking at a copy of a book that's coming out called The Big M.
Is that menopause?
Yes, The Big M.
Menopause is having a moment, isn't it?
Yes. I'm looking at another book. I Know I Should Exercise, but so I have a stack of books to get through, but I have probably already read like 20 books this year. So
I love to read too. Oh, it's my favorite. Yeah. And that's a good moment to have the phone away, in my opinion.
Yes.
Okay. Nedra, what's one thing you do consistently that lets your life be easier?
Eat the same breakfast. That's why I said my breakfast is boring. I eat the same breakfast most days. I get a little risky on vacation, but if I'm at home, I eat the same thing. It's just easy. I don't have to think about it. It takes about 10 minutes to prepare and eat, and it works.
Thoughtless
Eggs and
routine.
protein. Yep.
Yes. So, Nedra, I know you had a book that came out in October. Also, consider this. Where do we go to find out more about? Like, where do people go to get all of your goodies, your wisdom, access to you and all the things that you share?
Yes. So on my website, I have free worksheets, I have quizzes,
Oh yes.
I have all of my books listed, any things that I'm doing in the future, coming to a city near you. All of that is on my website at Nedra Tawwab. I have a weekly newsletter on Substack. I probably have over 100 newsletters now, so you could go back and just click through and find one that's meaningful for you. And those come out on Tuesday, every Tuesday. So there
Nedra.
was a new one today. We're recording on Tuesday.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
yes.
Nedra, thank you. I mean, I hope you'll come back in the future. Like, oh my, thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for
You're
being here.
welcome.
What
You're
a joy to have
welcome.
you.
Thank you
And
for
my
having me.
friends. Oh, until next time, that's what I'll say.
Yeah.
And until next time, my friends, so much
Mhm.
love and ease.